Okay, I wanted to give you a little help for this lesson 10-2 homework. I've chosen a couple of problems that hopefully will help you with the rest. So let's get right into this problem number 3. Just looking at what we're given, I'm going to convert the right side of this equation so that it looks like the left side. Okay, so I'm just going to turn the right side into sine theta. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is remember that secant is a reciprocal function. So I'm going to turn secant theta into 1 over cosine theta. And again, one approach to these problems is to pretty much get uniformity. So everything should be in terms of sine and cosine if that's possible. And you can probably tell that in the denominator, we can turn tangent into sine theta divided by cosine theta. And cotangent will be just the flip of that, cosine theta divided by sine theta. Okay, so I'll just kind of number my steps here. So that would be step number 1. And now thinking about a common denominator down here. So I'm going to bring down sine theta on the left. So 1 over cosine theta, and my common denominator is going to be cosine theta sine theta. So I'll just show that. Okay, so now when I divide, the cosines will cancel, and so I'm left with sine theta times sine theta, so that's going to be sine squared. And over here, you can probably see that that's going to be cosine squared. Okay, so now we can put these together, so I'll just call this step number 2. Number 3, just bring it down the left side again. 1 over cosine theta. Let's see if we can combine what's going on down here. If you put this together as just one fraction, your numerator is sine squared plus cosine squared. Well, that's just 1 over this common denominator, cosine theta, sine theta. Okay, so we're almost there. Going to my next step. Dividing by 1 over cosine sine is the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal. So let's I'll put the left side back. Okay, so it looks like this. 1 over cosine theta times cosine theta sine theta, basically over 1. So flip that over and multiply. And now you can see how these cosines are going to cancel. And so we've proven basically that this is an identity because we've made the right side agree with the left. Okay, and I'll put question marks here because this is kind of our proof to get to our final answer. Okay, so that's your final answer for number 3. All right, here is the problem number 7. And looking at, I went ahead and wrote the problem up from your book. So let's think about this time, the left side looks like the more complicated side, so I'm going to turn it into the right side. So thinking about our identities, remember that tangent squared theta plus 1 is equal to secant squared theta. And let's just go ahead and think of tangent using the quotient identity of sine squared divided by cosine squared. And I'm trying to make this equal cosecant squared. Okay, so we can also, we can think of secant, I'll just go ahead and change this. We can go ahead and just think of secant as 1 over cosine. I just wanted you to see how I got there. Okay, so far so good. So that will be step 1. And then kind of like the previous problem, dividing by this fraction means to multiply by its reciprocal. So on step 2, I'm just going to show that 1 over cosine squared times, and now I'm going to flip this over. My goal is to see if this equals cosecant squared. All right, so you can see how the cosines are going to cancel. So 1 over sine squared, does that equal cosecant squared? And yes, sine and cosecant are reciprocals. So you can finish this off by just showing that 1 over sine squared is cosecant squared. And that's your answer for number 7. So I hope that helps. I just chose a couple out of the block, and if there are others that you have a question about, reach out to me. I'll be glad to help you. And otherwise, I will see you next time.